Hey guys, this is AnimeBallZ here, and today we are going to be doing the first part of What If Deku Had Chakra. Don't worry, Deku Hellhound Part 3 will be coming soon. Since you guys did hit the like goal, it's just taken me quite a bit of time to finish it. The like goal for this What If will be 140 likes, and there's nothing really much I want to say, so without further ado, let's get into the video.
Slick talker since a jit. Winter time, all the time, ooh, yeah. Look at the way that I move, swag, disrespectful and I'm rude, okay. I had cocaine in the school.
Here are the abilities of his chakra. His father still has the ability to breathe fire, but let's say that Deku is quirkless, but he has only been given access to his spiritual energy, which he can use for chakra. Because of his father's fire-breathing quirk, he is given access to the fire chakra nature, and Inko's quirk isn't a quirk, but it's kind of different. She's classified as quirkless, but with a few hand signs, she can move small objects with her wind chakra nature. Because of both of these scenarios, Deku has affinities for both fire and wind chakra natures. Deku is also from the ancient Midoriya clan. This clan was a clan where only a few people every few generations would be given access to spiritual energy. It's just luck that Deku was given this ability, as well as his mother. Deku doesn't see a glimpse of this quirk until this incident. He's just come home from being bullied by Backago and his anger opened his spiritual energy. He feels it and hopelessly fuels it into his body. He opens his hand and he sees a flaming green energy source. It disappears and he smiles because he believes that he has a quirk now. Deku and Inko go to the quirk doctor because Deku has been so happy because he apparently has a quirk. He is still said to be quirkless, but actually he does have a power. It just can't be recorded with the current tests they have presented. Inko is also tested and she is deemed quirkless as well, but she obviously has powers. He tries to keep a record of their abilities because he wants to keep it in case someone in the future has the same problem as them, and he dismisses them. Now, Deku really finds out about his power in this mini battle against Backago. Deku says, "I'll have to stop you myself," and rushes him, but he still gets exploded back into a slide behind him. Deku coughs blood and he can barely keep himself up. Deku gets really mad and feels the spiritual energy once again. He fuels it into his body and feels the balance he needs to achieve. He can sense it through the energy. He creates imperfect chakra and he is engulfed in an aura of green chakra. He screams and a spinning dome of chakra launches Backago backwards. Deku's chakra retreats to the aura and Deku rushes Backago. Deku gets exploded, but it does nowhere near as much damage as it should. Deku jumps right at Backago and headbutts him back. He throws a punch and Backago just ducks under it. Deku kicks Backago back and leaps at him. He grabs both of Backago's arms and fractures them. Deku kicks Backago slightly and then palm slams him with full impact. Backago coughs blood, but then he explodes a left open Deku. Deku goes flying back and flies right through the slide. Deku coughs blood and then Backago and Deku run at each other with full force. Deku shouts, "Full impact!" Deku punches him in the face and Deku gets exploded in the stomach. Deku's quirk fades and Deku falls to the side while Backago is barely still standing. Backago says, "Deku, what have you become?" His two minions were too scared to fight him once they saw what he could do, and Backago is ashamed of them. Deku is sent to the hospital and his body is exhausted from the amount of power that was used. Deku is out for at least a week, and when he recovers, something happens to Backago. It's like he's woken up. Backago is still an aggressive and annoying person, but he believes that Deku has something else that isn't a quirk too. It didn't feel like one. Backago and Deku grow a huge rivalry, and this time it's quite a healthy one. They always try to one-up each other though. Deku has learned to harness his power and his aura has stopped being green, but it's transparent, but not all light goes through. You can not really see his body well. The whole thing with Deku goes the same with him wanting to go to UA, but Baku doesn't care if he's wanting to go. He'll have a worthy rival anyway. Deku has been training hard with his quirk and he's on his way to creating perfect chakra, where it is completely invisible, but it will give him lime green eyes. Deku doesn't get the encounter with Backago or anything because Backago doesn't really care and Deku just makes his way home. When Deku is walking home, he still gets sneaked on by the sludge villain. Deku can't resist and he slowly loses consciousness. Deku quickly reveals his imperfect chakra and the sludge villain is launched off of him. Deku concentrates his chakra into his arm and he shouts, "Full impact!" He zooms at the villain and punches it. It causes some damage, but his hand just falls right through. Deku jumps back because he sees punches and kicks are useless. Deku controls chakra to his feet to increase speed and dodge the sludge villain's attacks. He decides to use his ultimate attack. Deku slams his hands together and releases chakra from every point in one formation. He cracks the floor from the amount of strength and releases a huge spinning dome of chakra from his body. The sludge villain is torn to pieces and turns into little blobs. Deku's power fades and his hair stops flowing. He takes many steps back in exhaustion and slams into the wall. All Might arrives and sees that Deku has just taken down the villain all by himself. Deku smiles slightly because he sees All Might, but he just passes out. All Might keeps him from falling, then he signs his book. Deku gets up and sees that his book has already been signed. He is elated. Deku sees the sludge villain is completely gone and Deku smiles. He continues his walk home when he hears a group of people screaming and he sees fire. Deku sees that Backago is in it and he waited too long. The sludge villain disappears and Backago's eyes go a dim green, with a bit of sludge around his body. He now has the voice of himself and the sludge villain to back it. Deku screams in rage and he shows his chakra blindly. Deku concentrates his chakra into his arm and leaps at Backago. He screams, "Full impact!" He slams Backago right through a wall, then pulls him out. He thinks of a solution and he knows that Backago isn't going to go down that easily. Deku slams his hands together and he knows he can only use certain techniques because certain chakra flows he just can't do. This is because of hand signs. Deku can do one technique that he has been working on. He concentrates the chakra into his arm and does the same thing with his spinning dome technique but in his arm. He jumps at Backago and when he punches Backago, his muscles tear in his arm. The gush of chakra is released and Backago goes flying over the crowd and slams through a building. Deku falls to the ground and his arm looks really bad with several tears and blood coming down it. Deku screams in agony but he is fine when he uses his chakra and it eventually heals in a few minutes when he concentrates a good and healthy amount into it. When Deku picks up his stuff, he encounters All Might once again and Deku is absolutely elated. Deku says, "Wait, All Might!" All Might is surprised that he knows he's All Might. This is because he isn't in his big buffy form that you normally see him in. He says, "All Might, can I still become a hero if I have no knowledge of my powers?" All Might says, "You'll become strong, I'm sure of it. You'll get knowledge of your quirk in no time." Deku is very happy to hear this and pretty much everything goes the same after this. Deku gets One for All because I want him to get a type of jutsu called Seishin Jutsu. This gives him power to Ofa Mode, where he perfectly balances the power of One for All and chakra, basically physical energy, spiritual energy, and One for All. Both of the powers are squared, basically timesing by each other, and magnified after that to create an immense power mode. It requires less training than Sage Mode because One for All is already there, and all he needs to do is perfectly blend it with chakra. He also gains access to a dojutsu called the Midorigan, the Green Eye. The abilities will be evaluated on once he actually activates it. Deku also gains access to perfect chakra, and he also went to his mother to learn all of the hand signs. Now he can hover for short periods, shoot mini tornadoes of wind, slash blades of wind that cut like a sword, enhance weaponry with wind chakra, and other small things like that. Deku and Backago collectively move all of the scrap off of the beach, and they are set to not use their quirks or any sort of power, just their base power. Yes, Deku and Backago are training together with All Might. Deku and Backago are at the top of the cargo and scream into the air together, and words can't describe their relatedness from success. Now, after all of this explaining, let's get to the UA entrance exam. Deku gets ready with Backago and they both make their way to UA. Backago and Deku walk together and Deku still falls down, but Backago catches him and says, "Watch your step, nerd." Deku gets up and says, "Thank you." Let's just cut to the actual entrance exam because everything goes the same before this with the introduction to the exam and stuff. Deku has already made a game plan to killing these robots by destroying one robot and creating a wind blade to create several daggers that he will keep on his waist. Deku finds a 1-point robot and uses a wind gush blade to destroy the robot. He cuts up the robot and makes several daggers and a shield. Deku runs out and starts destroying with his wind chakra enhanced weapons. He manages to rack up about 13 points from hard work, and his shield breaks from all of the fights. Deku turns and sees a huge 0-point robot that Uraraka is trapped under. Deku knows he has to save her and controls One for All to his legs. He leaps up with the help of wind chakra and a spinning tornado of wind chakra swivels around his arm. He punches the robot and the robot explodes from the huge tornado of wind. Deku concentrates his chakra to his legs and uses wind chakra to soften the landing so his legs don't just break again. Deku grabs Uraraka from under the robot and Deku walks to the side so his legs can fully heal. He feeds chakra slowly into his legs so it can fasten the healing. Deku knows there's barely any time left and just grabs a part of the robot for a shield and finds a 3-point robot. Deku has a tough time with the robot, but he is eventually victorious. After this, here are the points. Backago actually gets 80 points and Deku gets 76 points. Still putting him below Backago but over other people. Backago actually gets 4 rescue points, showing his eased personality due to Deku's influence. Deku is very happy that he got this result and Backago is happy too. Deku ends up finding out about a jutsu called the Wind Gale Palm and Shadow Clone Jutsu from Inko's family old jutsu scriptures. Inko has kept these scriptures safe and sacred by herself. Deku spends a lot of time studying these scriptures so he can become much stronger and be a match towards any of the other people in UA High School. All Might congratulates Deku for passing into UA and also congratulating Backago and getting first place. Backago says, "There was no way I was getting second." Deku and Backago go to UA for their first day and Deku is elated to actually be here. Him and Backago make friends with Uraraka and Tenya, but Backago is just scouting out the strongest looking people. Deku and Class 1A eventually make it to the Quirk apprehension test after their introduction to their teacher Shota. The first test we'll be going over is the 50-meter dash. Backago instead gets 3.91 seconds and with One for All, Deku just slingshots over the whole thing. I know he didn't use his quirk in the series, but I believe if he has chakra, he knows the healing can help him after. He just jumps over the whole thing and gets like 2.82 seconds. This is only a lucky test because it complements his quirk, but he won't get extremely high in the test. Now for the grip strength test. I don't know what Backago got, but I assume he got more than Deku, but not by much. Maybe about 90 kilograms of force. This is only speculation because I don't really know if Backago used explosions of any sort for the grip strength test. Deku uses his chakra and concentrates his chakra into his hands. He gets like 2.5 times more at 140 kilograms of force. Backago gets something like 125 kg. The next test we'll be covering is a standing long jump. Backago and Deku clear the sandbox this round. For the ball throw, Backago gets way more with about 1,100 meters, 1.1 kilometers, and Deku uses One for All as well as Wind Chakra, putting his own distance at about 1,000 meters. The other tests go pretty much the same except they get like higher results in all of them. Deku gets 5th behind Tenyida and Backago but above pretty much everyone else. Mineta is still expelled in this series too because of it. Now let's get to the battle trial arc. In this what if, Deku is with Backago and he's against Tenyida and Todoroki. Deku and Backago have also been training 2v2 play, so they know how to complement each other's quirks. Deku's team are the heroes and Todoroki's team are the villains. For the hero costumes, Backago's is pretty much the same, but Deku's is a lot lighter and more flexible. Deku says quietly, "I'll leave a shadow clone here and he'll punch the wall giving away his location. When he gets attacked, he'll poof away and they'll fall right into our trap." Deku makes the hand signs and whispers, "Shadow clone jutsu." A clone appears and he signals to the clone what to do and they advance to a hidden area. Deku signals 3, 2, 1. Then the wall gets hit after 1 second. They see Todoroki advance to Deku and goes right past Deku. Deku and Backago get out and Backago gets prepared. Deku uses Wind Chakra and Backago explodes him forwards. Todoroki turns and Deku uses the imperfect aerial impact. Todoroki goes flying and uses ice to slow his speed. Todoroki shoots a barrage of ice projectiles but Deku dodges all of them with his amazing reflexes and sees that he can't advance or he get extremely hurt. Backago says, "I'll explode randomly and use that element of surprise to appear in front of him." Deku smiles and says, "The idea's not half bad." Backago shouts, "There's no way that you'll survive!" Deku uses Wind Chakra and propels himself through the smoke. Todoroki is confused until he hears a whooshing noise and Deku appears from the smoke. Deku slashes a huge wind blade with an air kick and Todoroki goes back into the wall. Deku sees ice coming for him but he uses the wind tornado to crack it, then punches it to break it. Deku throws a punch, but Todoroki uses a precision attack to cover his arm in ice. Deku steps back in horror and smashes the ice off. Deku says, "You're strong, but not enough for both of us." Todoroki then sees a blurred Backago with an explosion behind him ready for attack. Deku and Backago both punch Todoroki, but Deku uses the imperfect arrow fist to make it much stronger. Todoroki slams into the wall and coughs blood. He doesn't want to lose and he just explodes ice from his body. Deku uses wind chakra and pushes the ice back with a gush of wind. Backago follows by jumping off of Deku's back and kicking Todoroki in the head, then Deku follows. Todoroki tries to throw a punch, but Deku grabs his arm, grabs the neck of his shirt, pulls his body up and slams him into the floor behind him. Todoroki gets up and sees that Backago is gone. Deku says Backago is gone for Tenyida. He will go and get the warhead. Todoroki looks up and smiles because he believes Deku can't contain him. Deku makes several hand signs and says, "Shadow Clone Jutsu!" Deku appears next to him, then Deku and the Shadow Clone make their stances. Deku runs up on Todoroki, but his Shadow Clone instantly gets impaled with a barrage of ice pins and sharp ice projectiles. Deku slashes a wind blade, but Todoroki ducks under the slash. Deku uses Once for All in his legs and jumps with insane speed to make himself a blur. He uses the imperfect arrow fist once again. Todoroki goes flying from the gush of air and slams into the wall. He can barely get back up and Deku concentrates chakra to his legs for healing. His legs heal from being broken but still really hurt and gives him a lot of pain to walk around in. Todoroki raises his ice hand and he shoots a huge amount of ice to Deku and Deku gets hit hard with it. Deku tries to crawl after him but he eventually is too tired to move and uses chakra to his best ability to recover and prays that Backago can win. Backago has been having a tough time with Tenyida, but eventually he uses a distraction explosion and appears out of the smoke and touches the warhead. Tenyida has been tricked and Deku and Backago are crowned the winners. Todoroki says to himself, he knew he couldn't win. He was only a distraction because he believed that Backago could take down Tenya. This guy is annoying. Deku eventually recovers enough to stand and smiles when he realizes he won. Deku and Backago celebrate with an off day of training and time to rest. So that will conclude the first part of What If Deku Had Chakra. The light goal won't really be a light goal. If I said it in the start then I was just waffling. I'm just gonna see how good this video does and then I'll upload a part 2 if this does do good. Please like and comment on anything that you liked about this What If or anything that I should improve on for the next part. If you really like this What If, then you can subscribe and put on post notifications to be told when the next parts of these What Ifs will be made with great accuracy. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video.